Mysterious objects have been appearing in the skies, the seas, and even deep space for years, defying explanation and even logic. From glowing orbs caught on military radar to bizarre crafts moving in ways that should be impossible, the world is full of sightings that leave experts scratching their heads. While skeptics brush them off as camera glitches, weather phenomena, or classified tech, others believe they're proof of something much bigger: hidden technology, secret government projects, or even visitors from beyond. And then there's the rest of us, stuck somewhere in the middle, fascinated but unsure what to believe. So, whether you're a skeptic or a dreamer, these 15 shocking and mysterious object sightings will make you question reality. Let's start off this list with number 15, Kenneth Arnold, 1947. Kenneth Arnold wasn't looking for UFOs. He was just flying his small aircraft near Mount Rainier, Washington, on June 24, 1947, when something unexpected happened. As he cruised at 9,200 feet, he noticed 9 blue glowing objects zipping through the sky in a perfect V formation. They weren't like any aircraft he had ever seen, and their estimated speed, 1,700 miles per hour, was unheard of at the time. Initially, Arnold assumed he had stumbled upon a secret military project. But when he reported what he saw, the military insisted no aircraft were flying in the area. The press latched onto his description of the objects moving like a saucer skipping across water, coining the now famous term, flying saucer. In the following weeks, multiple witnesses in nearby states reported seeing similar UFO formations. The government dismissed Arnold's sighting as a mirage or hallucination, but UFO fever had officially begun. Number 14, Roswell, 1947. The Roswell incident is the UFO case everyone knows, even though no one actually saw a flying object crash. Instead, in July 1947, rancher Mac Brazel discovered mysterious debris in his New Mexico pasture. Metallic rods, strange plastic-like material, and thin paper-like scraps that wouldn't burn. He reported it, and soon, military personnel from Roswell Army Airfield arrived, collecting the wreckage in secrecy. Then came the headline that changed everything. Ray AF captures flying saucer. Just as quickly, the military retracted the statement, claiming it was just a weather balloon. Decades later, declassified documents revealed the real cover-up. The debris was part of Project Mogul, a classified effort to detect Soviet nuclear tests using high-altitude balloons. The truth didn't matter by then. Conspiracies about alien bodies, secret autopsies, and hidden spacecraft had taken hold, turning Roswell into the UFO capital of the world. Number 13. The Lubbock Lights, 1951. On the night of August 25, 1951, 3 science professors from Texas Tech University were enjoying an evening outside when they saw something unbelievable: a semicircle of bright lights flying silently across the sky. Within days, dozens of other reports came in, all describing the same formation of glowing objects. Texas Tech freshman Carl Hart Jr. even managed to capture photos of the phenomenon. The images were published nationwide, making the Lubbock Lights one of the first major UFO cases with photographic evidence. The Air Force's Project Blue Book investigated, concluding the lights were birds reflecting the glow of Lubbock's new streetlights. Many weren't convinced. Witnesses, including trained scientists, argued that the lights were moving too fast and in too precise a formation to be birds. The Lubbock Lights remain one of the most famous mass UFO sightings with no definitive explanation to this day. Number 12. Levelland, 1957. Levelland, Texas, November 2nd, 1957. A quiet night turned chaotic as multiple drivers reported their car engines dying the moment they spotted a glowing, rocket-shaped UFO in the sky. Engines stalled, headlights flickered, radios went silent. Once the UFO vanished, their cars mysteriously worked again. At first, police dismissed the calls as a hoax until officers themselves saw the same blinding object streak across the sky. Over a dozen independent witnesses, from farmers to mechanics, described the same thing: a brilliant light hovering low and moving erratically. The Air Force's Project Blue Book investigated and, unsurprisingly, dismissed the event as ball lightning, despite no storms reported that night. The Leveland incident remains one of the most compelling UFO cases, inspiring a famous scene in Close Encounters of the Third Kind and proving that whatever happened that night, it wasn't just imagination. Number 11. Tehran, 1976. On September 19, 1976, the Iranian Air Force sent an F-4 fighter jet to investigate a strange, bright light hovering over Tehran. As the jet approached, its instruments failed. Radar, radio, weapons, everything went dead. The pilot was forced to turn back. A second jet was launched. This time, the UFO locked onto the plane before releasing a smaller, glowing object straight at it. An aggressive maneuver, unlike anything the pilot had seen. He tried to fire back, but again his weapons and communications went offline. Then, just as suddenly as it appeared, the UFO vanished. Iran later contacted the US military for help investigating. The official report, declassified years later, noted multiple credible witnesses, electrical failures, and a radar lock on an unknown craft. Skeptics blame Jupiter, equipment malfunctions, or a meteor shower. But pilots still insist what they encountered that night was something far beyond human technology. Number 10. Zimbabwe children and the end of the world. In September 1994, something extraordinary happened at Ariel School in Ruwa, Zimbabwe. During recess, over 60 children reported seeing metallic disc-shaped objects hovering near the schoolyard. But the real shock came when they claimed to see strange beings, small figures with large heads, long black hair, and no visible mouths or noses. Even stranger, the children described receiving telepathic messages. One girl recalled feeling a silent warning. He talked just with his eyes. I felt like he was telling us something was going to happen. Some believed the message was about environmental destruction or the end of the world. Investigators, including Harvard psychiatrist Dr. John Mack, interviewed the children separately, and their stories remained eerily consistent. Skeptics argue it was mass hysteria or media influence, but the witnesses, now adults, still stand by their accounts. To this day, the Ruwa School UFO incident remains one of the most chilling and well-documented close encounters ever recorded. Number 9. The lights above the New Jersey Turnpike. July 14, 2001. Just after midnight, something so bizarre happened over the New Jersey Turnpike that even seasoned drivers pulled over in shock. A series of orange and yellow lights appeared in a perfect V formation over the Arthur Kill waterway, visible from Staten Island to Carteret, New Jersey. For 15 minutes, the lights hovered silently, captivating dozens of witnesses, including Carteret Police Lieutenant Daniel Tarrant. Calls flooded in from across the metro area, with reports from the Throgs Neck Bridge to Fort Lee near the George Washington Bridge. Air traffic controllers denied any known flights or military operations at the time. But when the New York Strange Phenomena investigators got their hands on FAA radar data, they claimed it corroborated the UFO sightings. Was it an experimental aircraft, a natural phenomenon, or something else entirely? No one knows for sure. What is certain, the New Jersey Turnpike lights remain one of the most baffling and credible UFO cases ever reported. Number 8. The USS Nimitz encounter. November 14, 2004. Off the coast of San Diego, the USS Princeton, part of the USS Nimitz carrier group, had been tracking unidentified objects for weeks. These weren't ordinary blips. The UFOs descended from 80,000 feet to just above the ocean in seconds. Aerodynamics that simply shouldn't be possible. 2 FA-18F fighter jets were sent to investigate. As Commander David Fravor and his team approached, and they saw roiling water with a dark shape beneath the surface. Then, suddenly, a tic-tac-shaped craft emerged. The object had no wings, no visible propulsion, and no exhaust, yet it moved at hypersonic speeds, easily outmaneuvering the jets. When radar operators tried to track it, the craft reappeared 60 miles away, almost instantly. The pilots were stunned. They had never seen anything move like this. The encounter was caught on infrared video, sparking serious discussions within the Pentagon. To this day, no official explanation exists for what they saw. Number 7. O'Hare International Airport Saucer. November 7, 2006. At Chicago's O'Hare International Airport, workers preparing Flight 446 for departure noticed something hovering above Gate C-17. It was a metallic, saucer-shaped craft, silent, motionless, and clearly visible. For 5 full minutes, at least 12 United Airlines employees and multiple other witnesses watched in disbelief. Then, without warning, the object shot upward at incredible speed, punching a perfect hole through the thick cloud cover, leaving a circular opening of clear blue sky. Despite the clear sighting, the object never appeared on radar. The event made national headlines, becoming the Chicago Tribune's most read story at the time. Yet, when pressed for answers, the FAA dismissed it as a weather phenomenon and refused to investigate. Skeptics and believers continued to debate what happened that day, but one thing is certain. Whatever hovered over O'Hare that afternoon was no ordinary aircraft. Number 6. The Rendlesham Forest Incident. In December 1980, U.S. Air Force personnel stationed at RAF Woodbridge in England witnessed something they couldn't explain. Just after 3 a.m., strange lights were seen falling into Rendlesham Forest. Thinking it could be a crashed aircraft, servicemen ventured into the woods, only to find a glowing metallic craft unlike anything they'd ever seen. The object pulsed with bright, colorful lights and moved in ways that defied physics. When they got closer, it suddenly shot off into the sky. The next morning, they found triangular indentations on the ground where the craft had been. Days later, more servicemen reported 3 glowing lights hovering above the forest, moving erratically. Skeptics say it was a lighthouse beam, but witnesses, including Lieutenant Column Charles Holt, stand by their accounts. Whatever happened in Rendlesham that night remains one of Britain's most brain-baffling UFO mysteries. Number 5. The Battle of Los Angeles. February 24, 1942. The U.S. was on edge after Pearl Harbor, expecting another attack. Late that night, radar picked up an unidentified object approaching Los Angeles. Air raid sirens blared, searchlights cut through the sky, and anti-aircraft guns unleashed over 1,400 rounds. For nearly an hour, something, or nothing, was hovering over the city as the military desperately tried to shoot it down. Some witnesses reported large, slow-moving crafts, while others saw smaller glowing objects darting through the sky. By morning, the streets were littered with shrapnel, buildings were damaged, and 5 civilians had died from heart attacks and car crashes. The military later claimed it was a weather balloon, sound familiar, but people weren't convinced. If it was a false alarm, what were they firing at for an hour? The Battle of Los Angeles remains one of the strangest wartime UFO incidents ever recorded. All right, now, let's move to Number 4. The 1952 Washington, D.C. UFO incident. Now buckle up because this one is pretty mind-boggling. In July 1952, something strange happened in the nation's capital. Air traffic controllers at Washington National Airport picked up fast-moving, unidentified blips on their radar. The objects weren't just random glitches. Pilots and military personnel saw them with their own eyes. Glowing lights zigzagged over Washington, D.C., moving in ways no known aircraft could. Some hovered, then shot off at impossible speeds. The sightings repeated the next weekend, causing a media frenzy. With public panic growing, the Air Force held its largest press conference since World War II. Their official explanation? Temperature inversions. Essentially, they claimed warm air was bending radar signals, making nothing look like something. But that didn't explain why trained pilots and military officers also saw the objects. To this day, the 1952 DC UFO incident is one of the most famous mass sightings ever, forcing even skeptics to admit something unexplained happened. Number 3. The Belgian UFO wave. Between November 1989 and April 1990, Belgium became a UFO hotspot. Over 13,000 people reported seeing massive, silent, triangular crafts hovering low in the night sky. These weren't just vague lights. Witnesses described solid, dark objects with 3 bright lights at each corner, moving smoothly and silently. Even more bizarre, in March 1990, Belgian fighter jets were scrambled to intercept the unknown crafts. The pilots locked onto them with radar, but every time they got close, the objects vanished, at speeds no known aircraft could reach. Despite the military's best efforts, no explanation was ever found. Some say it was advanced military technology, others call it a mass hysteria event. But with so many credible witnesses, radar data, and even government officials admitting they couldn't explain it, the Belgian UFO wave remains one of the best documented UFO cases in history. What do you think about it? Let us know. Number 2. Katrina and her friends. May 31st, 2024. Katrina and her friends were hanging out in Henderson, Nevada, when something seriously strange interrupted their night. Around 10 p.m., a bright round light appeared in the sky, pulsing, shifting, moving in a way that made no sense. TMZ caught the whole thing on video, showing the object zigzagging diagonally before shooting upward, then down again. It wasn't behaving like a plane, a drone, or anything explainable. Now, what's even more strange is that a commercial airliner passed right by it, completely ignoring it. Skeptics, like always, chalked it up to a drone or atmospheric phenomenon, but the movement was so erratic that it left even the biggest doubters scratching their heads. Was it an experimental military craft, a celestial event, or something not from here? The sighting quickly went viral, fueling debates online. Whatever Katrina and her friends saw that night, it wasn't just another star in the sky. Number 1. John Shepard and the Lights. June 4th, 2014, Kensington, Canada. John Shepard was camping near the Twin Shores campground, enjoying a peaceful night by the fire. Then, just as he put out the flames, he noticed something strange in the sky. Bright lights appeared over the Gulf of St. Lawrence, moving in patterns too precise for natural phenomena. They weren't planes, drones, or satellites. The colors shifted, the lights pulsed, and then they danced, zipping across the sky in a way that made no sense. Grabbing his phone, Shepard filmed the event for 22 minutes. He later sent the footage to the Mutual UFO Network, a group dedicated to investigating unexplained aerial phenomena. The sighting gained national attention, making MUFON's list of top 10 UFO cases of 2014. Some called it secret military technology. Others believed it was something beyond our understanding. For Shepard, it was simply the most surreal night of his life. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.